Hello again, everyone. RP Davis here with another video on how to use Microsoft Word to make your DM's Guild products look pretty darn smashing. And today we're going to talk about, well, we're going to take it from start to finish. How about we do that? I have here a document that I wrote in Google Drive. It was a G-doc, downloaded it as a docx. I've gone through and formatted the fonts, made sure all the formatting was good, made sure it's close to what I want it to look like, selecting the body fonts and the heading fonts and all that sort of thing. These are all things, the heading fonts I paid for, but the main body font and all that sort of thing is free stuff that comes with Word or commercially licensed fonts from the internet. And yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I don't particularly like, let's zoom in a little bit so you can see it. I don't particularly like this font. This is Crimson Text. This is one, I think it came, I forget where I got it. But anyway, Crimson Text, it's nice. It's close to the core rulebook font, and because it's a nice serif font that works really well. It's very readable, but it's a little too samey. So I'm going to pick a different one. Let's just select this whole paragraph here so we can go up, do the drop down. Which one would we like to try? Do we want to try a sans serif font? That's Futura. That's what all the first edition books were set in. No, I don't like that. So let's find another one. There's a nice Caslon. There's Garamond. That's a little different. Nope, we don't want bold. Let's go for yet another one. And data. No. No. Definitely not. That has weird capitals. That's an old face called Baskerville. Bodoni? No, I don't like that either. Book Antiqua? No. You can do this all day. Cambria is the font that the Unearthed Arcana books are set in. You know, the free PDFs that they put out for the playtesting stuff. I kind of like that. You can let me know in the comments if you like it or not. Caslon Antique is a nice one. Oh, that's a little too 3rd edition. Centaur, that's nice. Chaparral Pro is one, that's what we set. A Jarlaxle's Guide to Traps is set in Chaparral. That's a nice one. But I think I would like to go with that. Chaparral, maybe. Anyway, we're only at the C's, and I have so many fonts. There's Crimson Text again. The cool thing is when you just mouse over fonts using the drop down in Word, it'll change things for you. No. Garamond is such a good type. It's just universal. Novels and everything get set in that. But again, a little too samey, maybe. Nope, that's a little too weird. Because you got to figure out what people want to see. There's Futura again. That's the whole 1st edition font, and I like it. That's why I have it. No, that's nice. What is this? Gentium Basic. I don't even know where that came from, where I got it from, or why. But I like it. Georgia is a font that I think comes with Garamond again. Georgia is a font that I think comes with Word. Nope. We can make it really medieval. Look at that. It's called Gaudi Medieval. Or Goody, however you pronounce that. I call it Gaudi because that's, you know, I live in the Netherlands now, and the OU sound is ow. High Tower Text. I don't know where that came from, but that is really, really special. Quite readable, but different. Sets it apart just a bit. Although I don't really like where how the numbers are working. I mean, you see in the 2001 there, and in 1985, the 1 is looks like a small I, and the numbers are weird. Might be a little too historical because if you're calling out things like +1 bonuses on magic items like we're doing here, that can get a little that can get a little confusing. And the last thing we want to do is confuse our readers. No, definitely not. Too small. Nope, 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 nope. Definitely not. Here we go. How about this one? Nope. We could do this all day. I love this font, Mayflower Antique, but no, it's not something you want to try and read an entire book. Don't like Merriweather. Minion Pro. This is one of my favorites. That is such a good one. Minion Pro Medium looks so good. All right, let's go with that. Now, to change your font inside the styles, the paragraph styles, you can mouse over the paragraph style, right-click on it, and you can click. It gives you a bunch of variety. I don't know if you can see the pop-up, but you've got Update Normal to Match Selection and Modify. You can go either way here. If you just click Update Normal to Match Selection, it will change whatever is formatted in your Word as normal, which should be everything other than your headers, your main headers. Suddenly it will become normal. It will all take on the same look. So that's pretty cool. Right, we've selected our main body font. It looks pretty nice. Let us talk about, let's zoom out a little bit so we can get pages to get the real view here. The introduction, this bit, that can stay in single column. Everything else should be in 2 columns. Luckily, that's easy. Click in there. Now this will format you. Everything that's under a heading 1 will take on the whatever columns you set under that heading 1. To do that, you go to Page Layout, Columns, 2. Boop. There we go. Isn't that nice? Isn't that easy? Now this is pretty cool because now we need to think about the size of our quote normal close quotes font. Let's zoom back in. Because there's a rule of thumb in publishing that says you want somewhere around 2.5 alphabet, between 1.5 and 2.5 alphabets, that is number of letters in a line. More than that can be confusing for people once they read through an entire line, then they have to go to the next line. That can get confusing for people. They can lose their place if you've got 3 or more alphabets in the line. If you have too few, people get confused. It gets very tiring to read because you have to switch lines too often. Plus, it looks like, you're an 8th grader trying to pad out a book report, and nobody likes that. So let's see, because we've got, this is our normal font now, which is Minion Pro Medium, that is set at 11.5 as the font size. So let's count, put the cursor at the start of this first line here and count how many alphabets we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One alphabet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So you've got about 16 characters, 26, 32 characters in there. That's, about 1.5 alphabets. Let's go try the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's an alphabet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Okay, so 26 and 19. Again, we're right in that range. So that's pretty good. That means we've got something that is sized appropriately. Let's see if we can't, because there's been a lot of talk lately about keeping things larger, our main normal quote-unquote body text larger than the core rulebooks. The core rulebooks are very small. Understandably, they've got a lot of information to pack into a printed page. So they need to make sure, they need to keep things at like 9, 10 tops. We can afford to go a little larger. But what I would like to do is try it at 11 and see where our count goes there. So start again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 21, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20. Yeah, there we go. We're right about 20 we're right about 2 alphabets there. So that's nice. And again, we can go over here, right-click on normal, highlight that bit that we like, go over here, right-click on normal, and then update normal to match selection. Bada bing. Now the trouble is that's going to strip out a lot of things that are just italic, like this preface here. So we have to go back, make that italic, and because it should be smaller, we make it slightly smaller. You know, the pull quote at the beginning of every section that most of this stuff has. Okay, so we've got that. Doesn't look too bad. Let's zoom out again. Too far. There we go. So we can go through and just take a look at all of our sections here. Now there's some things to look for. Oh bugger, it pulled all of my spell formatting out. That sucks. I'll have to fix that. Perils of working with Word. Because as you can see, we've got links in here. I like to link things like spells and effects just so people know what it is. But clearly, it didn't want me to have that. It's a thing that sometimes happens. So we'll have to either go back through and put all these spell names, but relink them. I won't make you watch me do that because that's a pain in the ass. We're also going to have to do things like all the rarities for these magic items. Go back and make those italic again. But again, you don't want to watch me do that, so let's not. Some things to watch out for when you're using Word is that you've got this concept called widows and orphans. You don't want to have things like what you see here, where the signaling property goes over pages. So, yeah, you can fix that using, just putting carriage returns in, but that is inelegant and can break things. So, after we get the art put in here, what we will do is go through and fix all of these widows and orphans after we get the art placed. And that is not our next step, but close. Anyway, now we need to go into fixing, because clearly this is all goobered up. I like to have page numbers in here and put them in the footer. It's just easier that way. And let's do a thin line. There we go. That should be nice. That's not working. Let's not do that. There are so many different ways to do this because just Word gives you all of these different templates for page numbers. Why wouldn't you use them? So I'm using them. It's just a matter of picking one that I like. Let's try mosaic. There we go. That's got a nice little design around it. We'll leave it go at that. So now we need to put a page background in. To do that, to get it to repeat on every page, like we discussed in the first video of using Word, you open up the header and you plop using the insert key. You're not going to see this pop up probably, but you pop in a picture, and the picture you have to, next to the picture will be a little layout options box that's up in the upper right. That'll open up things that'll tell you in line with text and give you the text wrapping options. You want to put this behind the text. You want to fix its position on the page, and then you want to move it so that it covers up the entire page. It'll give you a little green flashy thing when you've got it at the right place. Change the size. Boom. That is in its place. And now you can close the header and footer tools. It can screw up your formatting. So, like that. Because it's Word, and that's the shit that it does. Right. So now we've got a nice page background. Looks kind of cool, right? Given that that's the case, why don't we go through now and put some art in? Now as I mentioned before, I've got some page breaks in between sections. That's how I like to do things when I'm writing just the text. That way my armor section is different than my specific armor section, is different than my weapons section. It just makes it, I find it's easier for me. Your mileage may vary, and that's okay. Now, when you talk to people about placing art, people who do this for a living, people like Emmett Byrne on The Circle, when they talk about what the One Ring, for example, or Adventures in Middle Earth, the Cubicle 7 standard is to have something interesting, something visually interesting every third page. Now we're talking that's for a humongous book, like 300-page book. I like to have something every other page. So with this, we don't have the cover tagged on the front, but we can think of the cover as page 1. The introduction should also, I think, have a nice little piece of art in it. So let's add a piece of art. Now I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Their website has this wonderful, absolutely wonderful resource that is just full of open source, commercially licensed historical art. So I went through there and I downloaded a whole bunch of Japanese stuff that I thought looked super cool and got as much of it as I could jam onto my hard drive without, blowing my computer up. And this is one of them. Now this is not exactly medieval, but it looks super cool. Now I'm going to have to touch a little bit of this up because you can see here that there is, let's zoom in on it. You can see a border here, especially up here at the top. You can see this transition from the page to the art. The art was scanned on a non-neutral background. That would be easy to fix in InDesign, but it's not easy to fix in Word. So we can go back in and do it in like Photoshop or something, remove the background and make that work. But I just want to get it placed so you can see it, so we can get a pleasant layout here. So you got a nice chunk of art there that is fitting with the theme of the product. We've got some armor here, armor special abilities, nothing screwy yet. But we've got this one bit that's hanging out on the end. Wonder if we can find a piece of art in our Asian stock art, for lack of a better term, that will move things around enough that it will let us fix that a bit. Now this is a piece that I did pull into Photoshop before and rough up the edges. Makes it kind of look like a piece of something from one of the Wizard's books. Nope, don't like that. Want to keep that paragraph there. Now let's make it big. Screw it. Okay. Now this is weird because we've got a weird widow down here, or orphan down here. So you can't just do a Control Enter on that because that's a page break. So you want to go here into page layout because we don't like that. We want that at the top of the next column. So we go up here to page layout, breaks, column break. Boop, there it goes. But then this does weirdness. We don't like that either. There are a couple of things we can do. We can change the size of it again, make it a little larger. Now we've got this here, which is also bad. So let's make that go away by putting it on the next page. It's not generally good practice to make something like this go over pages. There's a term for it, can't remember what it is. Not generally good practice to do that, but we can do that in this instance just because I said so. Now, we've got a lot of dead space here. Let's fill it with something. Let's go back to our pictures and find another one of those long columns. Maybe something that is bigger. Right. We wrap that tight. We fix the position on the page. We pop it up there, and we make it big. That's if I make it much larger than that going this way, it's going to screw up. I'm going to push stuff onto the next page. We don't want that. Let's see what it looks like if we stretch it. Ooh, that's not what we wanted to do. Oh yeah, that looks dumb. That looks dumb as hell. Let's not do that. Let's maybe find something else. Let's find something else that isn't quite as wide to begin with. Maybe we have... Wait a minute. What did we put up there? Okay. I forgot what we put a page above it. Yay! My brain is broken. Let's do this one. Fix the position on the page. We can move it over here, tuck it up in that corner, and then pull it down. Now that's too narrow. So that's not going to work either. The alternative here is to just take out that page break. We need to make that heading 2 again. There we go. Take out that page break and instead just leave this, put another, go up here to page layout, breaks, column break, and just leave that as it is. So now we've got something weird happening here where some text is spilling over. So let's see if we can't fix that. We need to fix this too because remember it took out all of our formatting for these things. You could fix that using a heading. I just never bother. Let's see. What I like to do when I do this stuff is have a lore paragraph and a functions paragraph. Right? So here we've got just a bit of fluff about the Devata mail, which tells you what it is, what it looks like, how you wear it. And then the second paragraph here has the 5th edition mechanical stuff. The trouble is, in some instances, it puts in too many paragraphs, and then you end up with something like this. Now, there's a couple of ways you can go about fixing that, because you do not want that. You do not want mechanical things crossing a page. When it's just a paragraph like this, where it's a boom, this paragraph is finished, the fear thing, you don't need to know this in the same paragraph as that. That's okay. It is not okay to have a mechanics paragraph straddling pages like this. So we need to fix it somehow. Maybe if we reduce the size of this from 11 to 10.5, yeah, that'll help. I wonder if we do that. Nope, that won't make a difference. Or maybe boy, I really hate that though. It makes that a big old pile of text in there. Don't like that. Maybe if we make this bit, yeah, that fixed it. And you can barely tell that this is a smaller typeface. Excuse me, got to move my mic. You can barely tell that this is a smaller typeface than the other stuff. I mean, yeah, okay, you can tell, but it's not so bad that it draws a bunch of unwarranted attention to it. And it fixes the problem of putting text, important text, splitting it over pages. But now, that gives us this whole column to put in a nice big fat picture. Let's see if we can't do that. Let's try this one. Again, we have to tell it to wrap the text and not to flow with the text. Because we don't really care if some of this flows over a page. It just doesn't matter all that much. Yeah, it matters that much, though. That's too much. That's too big, and we don't want it just to hang out up there in the corner because that's unpleasant. Let's make that not happen again. Let's try a different picture. Maybe let's try this. But let's do it so that it is up here on the top of the page, rather than trying to take up half the page lengthwise, let's take it up widthwise and take out the carriage return. That's not too bad. That's not too bad at all. Leaves us a weird break here. We don't want this single line. So we, again, put the cursor there, and we put in a column break using the layout tool. And I don't like this being here either, so why don't we take this and do the same thing. That pushes everything on top over there. And again, we're stuck with a widow and orphan down here. We're splitting the column. That's bad. So stamina gets a column break, and we can keep going from there. This is bad. Very bad. What? Yeah, so we again column break. This is layout. We'll be sitting here all day doing this. I won't take up all of your time, but this is a thing that you just have to do. You can't. There's no way around it. You have to do this stuff. Let's see now. Do we have a piece of art that would work down there in that little corner? Let's try. You can stuff this down here. Maybe. Oh, hey, maybe that should go all the way across. But now we've messed with this. We don't like that. Nope, still not going to work, because not only we've got this all busted up, we've got that all busted up. Can't have that. This is where it gets tricky. Anyhow, these are the practical ways to get your document done in Word. I think you can tell where to go from here. I mean, those are the important bits, at least. Everything is all... We've set everything up to do again. Oh, geez, these didn't get columns. Okay, so let's run that through again. Put your cursor in whatever you want in 2 columns. Page layout, columns 2. Poof, done. I like to have a credits at the end that not only gives where your inspiration came from, gives you a little bit about you, has links. This is important, guys. Pay attention to this if you pay attention to nothing else I say in this. I don't care how you make your documents. It doesn't matter if you want to use Scrivener or OpenOffice or Affinity Pro, InDesign. I don't care what you do, even though I'm trying to help you here with Word. What's important here is your credits page. You want to tell people where your inspiration came from. You want to tell people about yourself, right? You want to, so you tell people who you are. Tell people why you made the thing. Give a little bit of history. Make people interested in you. And then, as part of that, put links. If you've got more than one product on the DMs Guild, put a link to go to the DMs Guild and search your name, and then put a link to that page. Or go to your previous product, click your name under the title where it says author. That'll return a list of everything you've been involved with, everything you've been credited on as a writer. Put that link in your About the Author. If you have a website, put your website link in there. If you don't have a website, get one. You can make a free one on Webs or Webs.com or something like that. Give them your Twitter handle. If you have a link, if you have a page, you go to your send people to your Facebook page, right? Not hard. Credit your art. Always credit your art. Like here, interior art courtesy the Metropolitan Museum of Art's Open Access Initiative. Everything that's in here is going to be from that. You have to put the fine print, wizards, whatever. That's fine. This is too big. I hate that being the same size. So let's make that as small as we can, shall we? 8. I mean, you probably should make it large, but I don't. And because we have to put the logo in, let's put the logo in. I also have my own logo, so I'm going to put that in. Forgive me while I do this because you kind of have to. That's my new mark that I'm using on Drive-Thru RPG. So, can't type. We'll polish all this up in a different video. But always tell people where they can buy more of your stuff. I have other things that are caricature, a couple of books of spells. So these have links to them. These are just the thumbnails copied straight from the guild. Just right click, copy image, paste the image in, boom, you're done. Right click on it when you're highlight it with left click to highlight it, right click, hyperlink. It stripped a hyperlink. Isn't that nice? Well, I'll fix it. Link it and allow people to click out of the PDF to go straight to more of your stuff that they can buy. If you're not doing that, start doing that now. If you've only got a few products up on the guild, go back, pull up your copies you have on your hard drive, redo it to put credits, who you are, why you did it, where people can buy the rest of your stuff. You really need to do that. I'll be disappointed in you if you don't. Alright guys, that's it for this edition. In future editions, let me know if you liked it. Go ahead and like, subscribe, comment with what you'd like to see in upcoming videos. If you'd like to see maybe a tutorial on how to make this neat edge, I'm going to try and teach myself how to do it because I don't have a flippin' clue, and maybe we can walk through it together and learn. I'll do a thing in Photoshop that teaches us how to take this little transition out of these images so that it looks better when you drop them into these kinds of products. Anything else you want to see, let me know in a comment. You can email me, bob@r-p-davis.com. Subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/rpdavis, and help me out like that. Or buy my stuff on the DMs Guild. Just search RP Davis in a DMs Guild and you'll find it. Thanks again for watching, or listening, or whatever, ignoring me, however you like it. Anyway, it's been grand to talk with you, and I hope to do so again very, very soon. Bye-bye.